Today is day 4 of geometry. I'm going to just write that on this worksheet. This was our do now today, just to work on this. You're not here and you're watching this video. This worksheet will be in your folder. Day 4, and it is Thursday, January the 16th. All right, so let's look at these together. For numbers 1 through 4, I wanted you to use a ruler and compass. Here's my ruler, here's my compass. And construct the perpendicular bisector of each line segment. So let's do that. For number 1, how am I going to begin? What do I start with?
Okay, open up your compass so that it's more than halfway.
Perfect. I'm going to pick one of these dots. I'll just do the bottom one. And I need to have my compass opened up a little more than halfway. Put it about here. Okay, and then what do I do from here?
Okay, circle.
Make a little half circle. All right, let's do that. Switch hands.
Yes,
Things are so
but
awkward.
today is kind of tough today.
I know it. Okay, so I've got my half circle. Now what do I do?
Go to the other dot and do the same thing.
Other dot and do the same thing. Now, does it matter if my compass is open the exact same width?
It has to be the same.
It does. It has to be the same. If it's even a little bit off, it's not going to be a perfect perpendicular bisector. We got to be exact here. So I'm going to open here, put it on my point, and there we go. Now, do I actually need to make a full half circle here?
Yeah.
Ooh, I hear yes, I hear no.
When you
Send
get
your
to the second
answers.
point,
You just need to go through
You
one.
need to go
you need to
over
make it do
Yeah.
this.
You
All you need is these intersections. So we really just need to make sure that it's hitting it at some point. So boop, boop, that's good enough. That's good enough. Because look at that. I've got my intersection here. I've
But
got
it
my
doesn't look as
intersection
pretty.
here. It sure doesn't. Here, let's do it for fun. Let's see. Guys. Gonna have to be good enough as well.
The
Okay.
shows don't look perfect like that.
Okay.
It looks a lot like it.
Okay, so here's where my ruler comes in. What am I doing now?
Draw a line
Draw
between
a
the
straight
two
line.
points.
Perfect. We're gonna draw a line to connect these two intersections. So I need to line up. And I'm gonna draw it right through. Here we go. It's pretty decent. So now on number 1 and I guess number 1 through 4, once we've actually done the construction of that perpendicular bisector, what are the things I need to do to show that it is a bisector and that it's perpendicular?
90 degrees and your tick marks.
Yes, yes. So I'm going to
This
point
way.
this out specifically to you, Tasha, because I know you didn't
Yes.
see this yesterday.
Yes.
So once you draw this, it's important that we do these two things, and I'll do it in a color so it stands out. We need to show that this is 90 degrees, and so to do that, we're going to put a little box in there. And then we're showing that these line segments from here to the middle, from the middle to here, are the same length. So to do that, we put little inch marks, little tick marks. And that's it. Just those two things. All right.
Let's tick, 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 tick.
Very nice. Okay, let's try number 2. Gonna be pretty much the same thing. Where am I starting?
Either or.
Either or. One of the little dots, one of the end points. And then I need to make sure it's opened up at least halfway. Make this mouse. Make an arc. You could do a full half circle if you want. I keep that on my paper. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you guys, I'm supposed to be the teacher.
So,
It's tough. It's
You may
like
have to
really
be the teacher.
awkward. And then I'm gonna put on the other end point, and I'm gonna make sure that it intersects just like that. Okay. So I have my 2 intersections here. I'm gonna mark those. So I know that's where I'm going through. And then I'm gonna draw my straight line through them. Just like this. And in the future, if I ask you to do this, which I will, whenever we take our first quiz, I'll have you construct a perpendicular bisector. Don't erase any of your markings, because that's like the showing your work part, showing that you did the arcs and you did the intersections. So I'm gonna going through here as good as I can. That. Okay, and what do I need to show that this is a perpendicular bisector?
Your box.
Right angle
Yes.
and
The little
tick
box,
marks.
the little tick marks.
Where are the tick marks called again?
On the original line, what I'm showing, oh, what are they called? Where do they go?
I thought you called them something else. Yeah.
They're, it shows that these 2 segments are congruent.
Congruent. was the word I
Yes,
was looking
congruent
for.
meaning they are the
The
same.
same.
Yes, perfect. All right. So there's number 2. 3 and 4 are gonna be exactly the same, just tilting your paper a little probably. I'll run through those just in case. Sometimes it's good to see it over and over. Okay, so number 3. Same thing we've been doing. I'm gonna put my point on one of the endpoints. Make sure that it's more than half. Make it a little smaller this time, I think. There. And the other endpoint. Make sure it crosses through. It just barely did. And that darker. Okay. So here's my 2 intersections. I'll take my straight edge and just go right through them. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Okay, and what are the 2 things I need to indicate it's a perpendicular bisector?
Box and tick marks.
Yes, box and tick marks. Boom, boom. And remember, the tick marks go on the original line, because I don't know if these are the same length. I drew just kind of a random line. It's the original line that's being separated. Good. Okay. Now let's do that very last one here. Same process as the other 3. I pick a point to start on. Make my big arc. I do another arc from the other point. Ensure that they're crossing. And then these intersections is where I draw that line going through it again. There you go. And one last time, I'll ask you, what do I need?
Box and tick marks.
Box and tick marks. Good. Box, tick marks. Amazing. All right. Do we have any questions about how to make the perpendicular bisector? Any concern? Everybody okay with it? Okay. Natasha, I know you're getting a late start too.
Yeah,
How are
I'm
you
getting
feeling
late.
about it?
I'm getting late. But I tell you, my stuff it don't look exactly like yours, but I see that it's the correct way.
Let me
Like,
see what yours
I'm
looks
getting the
like.
same little things in the middle and everything. I'm
Let's
like,
see.
man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
So this table is horrible writing on. I'm gonna offer this to everybody. I don't know why I haven't mentioned it earlier.
Clipboards?
I have I got all these clipboards, guys. These are
I forgot about those.
like nice hard surfaces. So if you guys want to come up here and grab yourself a clipboard, it might make writing notes easier.
Okay,
So
all right.
feel free to come up and help yourself if
Thank
you
you.
want one. You don't have to use one, but I would if I was on those tables. I know. We're waiting for the new ones. I don't know when they're coming.
I heard you and Fred raised your hands. So we'll do it.
Yes. Oh, that's a whole thing. So now we're doing angle bisectors. So a little bit of a different process, but similar starting points. You're always starting on a point. Your point of your compass goes on a point. So where'd my compass go? I'm losing it. I'll put it on my thing.
Is there on your desk little thing?
There it is. Okay. Okay, so pointy part of the compass. We're gonna start it on the point. What's this point called?
Vertex.
Vertex. Good. So I'm gonna put my point here, and about how big should I have it open?
Just a
Like
small
halfway.
one?
Yeah, less than half of the line. So I don't want to make it huge, or else my markings are gonna go way out. I want to make this one a little smaller, like here. So I put it on the point, and I'm gonna zoom this out for a second and show you guys something that helps with using a compass. If you're able to spread your paper out and give yourself some room, I find it's easier to move the paper than to move the compass.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put it here, get it to where it's touching my paper, and I'm just gonna turn my paper. See that? I think it's a lot easier sometimes. So we'll try that. So there's our first arc.
You make your points.
Basically,
Yes, now we want to mark those intersections just like we did on our perpendicular bisector. We're always looking when we're doing constructions at points and intersections. We're looking at where things are touching each other, crossing lines, things like that. Okay. So I have two intersections, and what do I do from here?
You make it start from each.
Yes. Now we're going to take our compass.
Make it a little wider.
We can open it up a little more. If we want, you could keep it the same, but sometimes I like to spread this out a little more. And our starting point is now these points that we just made. Okay, so I'm going to put the pointy part of my compass on this intersection, this point. And where am I going to draw my arc? Inside the angle or outside?
Inside.
Inside. So I'm going to do a little that, make a little arc inside. Okay, I want to make sure everybody's to this point before I move on. I always hated it when I would be in like math class when I was in high school, and I'd be trying to do things on my paper, and then I look up and they're like on a totally different problem. Like, so does everybody have the second arc, or does anyone need me to go back and show anything again?
It's closer to the front, open it that close.
What part are you on, Tasha?
Right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you made that first arc.
Yeah.
Where is the point of your compass touching for the second arc? Let me see. When you put it on your paper, can you describe where it's touching?
Yeah, it's right above my first dot.
Is it
Right.
about where I have mine?
Yes, it's right. That's my first dot is.
Okay,
But my
perfect.
second ones are the first second arch isn't. I think I gotta open. Let me see.
So let me show you the third step, and then I'm going to look and see if yours starts to look like mine after the third. So we made our first arc, and then we're making our second arc. And then we're gonna move to that last point, the other intersection. Keep it open the same distance, and we wanna make a third little arc like this. And you'll see that we've made another intersection. That's what we should end up with, is a little X in the middle of our angle. And if anybody's having trouble getting this shape in the middle, let me know. Okay, so now what's our last step?
Mark your intersection.
Mark my intersection right there. And where am I drawing my line?
From the vertex to the intersection.
Yes, and thank you for saying vertex. We're gonna go from the vertex to this intersection. It's gonna cut our angle in half. So let's put our ruler down on there. And I'm gonna draw on my line. Like that. And it should look pretty good. Just look like you cut your angle in half. Very, very nice. Okay. Everybody think you got that? So let me ask you a follow-up question. If my original angle is 58 degrees,
29 degrees.
reading my mind, that would mean that the two smaller angles that we just created are 29 degrees each. Now, how did you figure that out? Divide it by 2. So 58 divided by 2 should be 29. Nice. Okay, let's look at our last one now. This one's a little bit trickier. I always find it's a little more difficult to do an angle bisector with an obtuse angle, just because it's bigger. There's more things to mess up on, I think. So again, where is my starting point? The vertex.
Right there in the center.
I'm gonna have my compass open how big? Less than half. Now my rays on my angle are not the same length. So I'm gonna go with less than half of the smaller one. I think it would still be fine if you did the big one, but I'm gonna do the smaller one just to be safe. So there's a little less than half. And I'm gonna stick my pointy on the vertex. And I'm gonna twirl my paper. Still messed up. Yeah, got it. Okay. And mark our intersections. So once we've got that first arc done, where should we go next? Yes, let's start on one of my new intersections. I'm gonna put my point right on the intersection, and I'm gonna open my compass up just a little bigger, just to make it not all on top of each other. I don't want all my points getting sloppy. So I'm gonna open it up just a little bit, and we'll do another arc. Oh my gosh. Swear. I'm telling you guys, I understand the struggle. I'm literally struggling with you.
The struggle is real.
So I'm gonna make something here. And where do I put my last one? On the other intersection. And I just need this to touch this. I shouldn't be saying this so much. Let me be specific. I just need my third arc to pass through my second arc. So in order to do that, I guess I don't need to make a whole nother half circle. I just need to make sure that I have a third intersection right here in the middle, like that. And I'm gonna mark that intersection. And once I've got it marked, where do I draw my line?
Vertex to your new intersection.
Good. Vertex to the new intersection, that third one we did. So connect the dots. Well,
6.5
mine's not
degrees.
perfect. Ooh, yes, and what did you say, 60?
66.5 degrees.
Yes, so my two smaller angles that I split my big 133 degrees in half is gonna be 66.5 degrees for each of these angles. Very nice. This one was 29 degrees.
Now, on the tests and stuff, are we gonna be doing that as well?
Only if I ask you to.
Okay.
Now, are you meaning make a construction or know the?
Nay,
Yes, you will make this construction.
but.
But knowing the half angle, there's gonna be some questions like this, yes. But I'll give it to you in the directions. I'll tell you, I want you to find it. On this one, I didn't. I don't know. I
But
told
we
you
did
verbally.
anyways.
I told you verbally. Okay, any questions about any of these? Yes.
133 divided by 2, is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, here, let me write that workout.
Yes, please. Yes. Thank you.
So, 133
We're just,
divided by 2, because
No.
there's two angles,
Okay.
she's got more for us.
66.5. Over here, I'll do the same thing. 58 divided by 2 is 29. There we go. Pause this and I'm gonna grab some papers and get ready for some. All right, so let's get out some paper. We're gonna take some notes today. I'm gonna start by labeling my page. This is geometry. One. Day 4. Day 4 notes. So we have been talking about lines, line segments, angles, rays, using rulers, using protractors, using compasses. We haven't done a whole lot of things with numbers though. So we've learned lots of concepts, lots of things, but now we're going to use those things to represent some numbers. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Let's talk about angles specifically. Now, there's a few types of angles that we need to be able to identify just by looking at them. We should be able to look and say, I know exactly how many degrees that is. I don't need to measure. And here's what those angles are. I'm going to have us draw a line, and I'm looking at my ruler. This is 5 centimeters if you're just wanting it to copy mine. So 5 centimeter line straight up. And then I'm going to do a 5 centimeter line straight across. And how many degrees would this angle be?
Right.
90 degrees. That's good. 90 degrees is one that we need to always be able to identify. And we'll be able to know it's 90 degrees also because of one little thing that we do. We do it on the perpendicular bisector. What is it that we're looking for?
Square.
That little square inside of it. You're always going to see a square inside of it. Now, if you see an angle on a quiz or a test or a worksheet or anywhere that looks like a 90-degree angle, if there's not a box, it's not 90 degrees. It could be 89 degrees. It could be 91. It's only exactly 90 if there's a little square inside of it. So let's make sure we know that 90 degrees has to have that little box in it. Now, another angle we need to be able to identify. I'm going to draw it directly next to it. Oh my goodness, I need to get myself some room. I'm going to make this one, I'm going from centimeters to inches. I'm going to do 3.5 inches, roughly. And right in the middle-ish, let's see, how, that here-ish. I'm going to draw a vertex there. Vertex here. Okay. We've got a straight line with a vertex in the middle. And I'm going to draw a little arc inside of it to show that this is how the angle is opening, meaning that originally maybe it was closed and then it opens all the way open like that. Does anybody have any idea how many degrees this angle would be? 180 degrees. Good. Very good. This is 180 degrees.
Full circle, 360.
Yes. You're ahead of the game. So, exactly what Max said.
I don't know nothing about Call of Duty.
Let's do one more drawing. And this one's going to look kind of goofy. This time I'm going to start with, actually, I'm going to do it above the 180, if that's okay with you guys. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to start with a point, and I'm only going to draw one ray coming out of it. Just one. I'll show you why in a moment. How big I made that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Like 5.5 centimeters-ish. Here's how we mark this one. I'm going to so my arc of where my angle is opening up, here's where it starts. It is doing a full rotation all the way around and ending where it started. So that's why it looks like there's just one line or one ray. There's really two, they're just overlapping. So we would mark it with this to show that it has rotated all the way around. And just like you said, Matt, this is 360 degrees. Now, we're going to use these numbers to help us solve some problems. Can I move this up, or is anybody still copying this? I'm going to take the silence as I can move it. Tell me to move it back if you need me to. So let's start by, I'm going to draw a rough 90-degree angle. I'm not going to get really exact with it. I'm going to draw a 90-degree angle. It has to have the box to show it's 90. And I'm going to put another ray coming out somewhere in the middle. Now, I'm going to say that the smaller angle here is 30 degrees. And I'm going to put a little arc inside. And then on my second angle, my larger one, It will be 16, you're right. I'm gonna put 2 arcs to show that it's not the same. And I'm gonna put X degrees. For a number we don't know. Some of you know it.
I'm like, wait, what?
So it is gonna be 60, but let's do some practice about how we're gonna learn how to set up an equation to solve this so that when we get into more complex ones, we have that skill we can carry with us. Because it's important to know how to arrange this into a blank plus blank equals blank. So I have 30 degrees and I have X degrees.
No, 30 degrees. No, is it?
And I don't know what this one is yet.
Okay.
These aren't the same though. They're not the
Yeah,
same.
they don't.
But what do I know?
You know that it's all equals 90.
Yes, I know that these 2 angles, when I put them together, they make 90 degrees. So when I put things together, I'm adding them. So here's what I'm going to do. I know that this angle, that's 30 degrees, plus this angle, X, is going to be equal to 90. So here's how we would write an equation. I'm going to color code a little bit. Make my 30 blue. So I have 30 plus, I don't know what X is. So I'm going to make X orange. 30 plus X equals 90 degrees. So here's the equation I can write from this problem.
You take 30 from both sides?
Yes, we're just gonna solve this like any normal equation we would in previous classes. If we want to get X by itself, we're gonna get rid of 30. We're gonna subtract 30 from both sides. So minus 30, minus 30.
Equals X equals 60.
Yes, my 30's canceled, and my answer is X equals 60.
Thank God for algebra.
Yes,
Oh,
right. I'm telling you, since you took algebra 2 before this class is gonna feel like a breeze.
Man,
Like
this is
serious.
great.
Are we learning something else? I know I can go. I don't like going online. I just trying to
And
find-
I-
We aren't gonna do
I don't
anything
have it.
too much more than this.
It's not an equation.
Nothing that you're gonna struggle with.
Okay.
Nothing you'll struggle with.
Yeah,
And no exit ticket today, so you're good on that.
Listen, thank you.
All
You're
right,
welcome. Have a good weekend. No class on
Thank
Monday.
you.
Don't
Yes,
forget.
ma'am.
Don't show up there, you're gonna be here by yourself.
Oh my goodness. All right, so there's our first equation we've solved for X. What if I give you something a little trickier?
Do it.
Don't do it.
Do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it.
What if I give you another 90-degree angle?
All right.
Okay, and I give you that this one is 20 degrees. Let me draw my box. A little art. Okay. And what if my bigger angle is X plus 12 degrees?
But how's about that?
Oh, what is going on? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna do some color coding because that helps me. So I'm gonna say this whole angle is X plus 12. I don't know what it is, it's just, that's what it is, it's X plus 12. This one is 20 degrees. And I know the whole thing is 90. The whole thing is 90. So, how would I figure out what the measure of this angle is? Did you say something? Did you give me a number? I bet somebody's right out here.
58.
58 for X or for the angle?
Yeah, for the X.
for X. Ooh, because that's going to be different, isn't it? This angle.
70.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a couple ways we can do this, guys. First of all, I know that this bigger angle is whatever 90 degrees is when I take 20 away from it, right? I know the whole thing is 90. If I take away 20, I will know the measure of this angle. But let's say I want to find X as well. So first, I'm going to show you how we set this up as an equation, just using the exact same method we did over here. So what I did is I put the number I know first. I know 20. And I know when I add it to whatever this angle is, it's going to be equal to what?
90.
90.
90. Okay. So
But you can have that.
this angle isn't X, it's X plus 12. That's not an issue. I'm just going to write X plus 12 in here. 20 plus X plus 12 is 90. And we're just going to solve it like normal. Now, what do I need to do here? How could I solve this?
Okay, 20 from both sides.
You could subtract 20 from both sides. Yeah, let's do that. Minus 20. Okay, so those cancel. And what am I bringing down?
Well,
Good. X plus 12 equals what?
70.
70. Good.
And then you're going to subtract the 12 and 70.
Yes, now we're going to subtract 12. Okay, and that's going to give us
yeah.
58. So, we solved for X. If I wanted to know what the value of X is, we could do this. If I wanted to know what the measure of this angle is, what would it be? Do we know? Can we tell? Well, if this angle is whatever X is plus 12, couldn't we just take my value for X that I just found? I know what X is now, right? 58. So what if I replace X with 58? Let's try that. 58 plus 12 is 70. So X is 58 and the angle is 70 degrees. Questions on that one? These can get tricky. We're going to do a bunch of more practice of this as well. We're going to do a whole bunch more. Okay. Does anybody still need this? I'm happy to wait.
No matter.
Okay, let's do one more, just one. And then I'm gonna get you out early today.
Awesome.
No exit tickets today, but we'll just do one more. I really just want you guys to be introduced to this today. And we'll get into it more on Tuesday. So one more, let's do another 90-degree angle. Draw my box. And say my slightly smaller angle is 40 degrees. And my slightly bigger angle is 4x degrees. And let's give these angles a name. Sometimes naming them helps us keep them straight a little better. We're gonna call the 40-degree angle. This one is gonna be angle A, so I'm just gonna put an A over here. And let's call the one that we don't know angle B. So I know that angle A plus angle B equals how many degrees? 90 degrees. So let's write that just to have it for reference. I know A plus B equals 90. Now already, do I know the answer or the value for either of these letters, either of these variables? A, okay, so I can replace A, right? So let's do that. Instead of A, I'm going to put 40 plus B equals 90. Now we don't know what B is. We know that B is 4x. But could we find the measure of angle B without using 4x? How would you do that?
That's it.
Can we do it?
Difference.
It's going to be 50. How'd you find that it was 50?
Because 40 minus 90 is 50.
So we're just going to go
Yeah.
ahead and subtract 40 from both sides. I'll bring down my B equals 50. 50 degrees. So I know that angle B is 50 degrees. Now, would this be easier to use to help us solve for x now? Because I know 4x is B, and I know B is 50. So what equation could I write to solve for x?
4x equals 50.
4x equals 50. If B is 4x and B is 50, then 4x is 50. They're all the same as each other. So let's write that equation.
Is that the below?
Oh, it's Jeremiah.
Sure.
Jeremiah, you can come in. So let's write 4x equals 50. Now solve for x. See if you can find it. And I'm going to pause this. Said 12.5?
Yeah.
12.5. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. And that is absolutely correct. X equals 50 divided by 4 is 12.5.
Okay.
Yes. You guys are superstars. Okay.
X equals 50,
Mm-hmm.
Take it out.
and then we're gonna divide by 4.
Yeah, you take it easy, bud.
Okay. All right, guys.
So that cancels it out.
That's it today.
All right.
Hello,
You're
Jeremiah.
done.
All right. That is all. No exit ticket today. I'm trying to avoid them on Thursdays, because they're easy to forget about. So I will see you guys on Tuesday. No class on Monday. Don't show up here. And I hope you all have a lovely long weekend.